I have released 3 small games, and the only reason they got finished is because I stopped designing content and started designing a loop. So now I'm going to compress the most important scoping lessons into this one episode using a real example of a very common first game idea that I hear. So the very common first game idea that I have here is going to be this sandbox survival crafting game, where you scavenge materials, you craft tools and weapons, build and upgrade shelter, manage hunger, stamina, fight hostile creatures, unlock new recipes, and explore progressively harsher zones. And like even a few of these are going to be overscopes. Like even if you just made a game of like these 3, it would be an overscoped game. So we need to cut a lot of these different things, but we still need to preserve like the core idea. So we're going to make this game, but we're going to make it much smaller so that you can actually finish it and so that it can actually be a real first game project for you. So like the core loop that I'm thinking right now, what I'm thinking immediately is that we just scope this down into having a few key resources, like 2 or 3. And then on the day we gather resources, then in the night we go back to our base and we start crafting things and we like defend that base. So I'm going to write that down. I'm going to write it in the idea and inspiration here. So the day is going to be the resource run, where you just gather as many resources as possible. And then the night is going to be where you just defend the cabin. Where's that? I'm thinking this could be a very good like 2D pixel art tile map for just one forest, and then around a single cabin, and then you can make like a small map out of this if you just have it to the pixel art tile map. Then the progression can come from crafting better gear and upgrading the cabin or the cabin defenses. So immediately we cut out a lot of the like most advanced things in this. So for example, since it's going to be 3D, we don't need to have all these different models, animations. We don't need to manage like this complex inventory system. We're just going to have it very, very simple here, and we're going to find like a 2D tile map, and then we can just make the map out of that. This is something you can find completely for free, very easy. So instead of like having this complex where you do multiple things at the same time, we can make it very, very linear progression where we just have these different days where it can get progressively harder, and we can just literally program the different levels of stuff, like how many enemies are going to like storm at the base, or which different resources we can actually spawn. We can make this very, very easy to make because we can literally just design what's going to happen in the game. But we can still have some like customization and some replayability to it, because the player can like upgrade different things, they can choose different upgrades, and they can also defend their base, and we can have like a simple combat system in the game which doesn't need to be hard to implement. So I'm thinking the day you gather resources, then you return before dark. In the evenings we can give the player a few minutes to craft. We can maybe just pause the time while they craft, and then when they craft like 1 or 2 items or upgrades, or they press like ready, then we can start a night where they're going to survive the wave of monsters. So we can just set up these pre-made defenses, just like in Rust, I think this game is. I have no idea actually. I just searched for like this idea, but I think this is Rust or something. I know you can have simple defenses there. We can make it very simple where we make them 2D, and this is something you can literally program in a few lines of code. So the win condition here is going to be something like crafting the last recipe, like the last item. So you might have this recipe be something that you need other things to craft, and you need to like get some special resources before you can craft this thing. So you get the player like anticipating what's going to happen when you craft this. This is going to be very fun, and also have a very, very clear when the game is finished, and you have like a goal to set when you're actually developing the game also. So it's going to be very clear when you're actually finished developing this project itself, because you have this very clear win condition. So when you can actually start a game with no resources and you can achieve this, your game is finished, right? Everything after that is just going to be the beta stages, the polishing. But if you can start a game without nothing and then you can achieve this, you basically have your entire game and you can publish it, right? So both for the player, it's very clear, it's very fun. They anticipate what's going to happen when they do this. It's also very good for you because you have this clear goal to set when you're developing. So if you can achieve this, your game is finished. Everything after that is just polish. And then we're also going to have like a very clear loose condition. So instead of this open world game where you craft different tools, weapons, build a little shelter, all these things, we're just going to have a simple loose condition where if your cabin is attacked, you lose the game, right? It's going to be very simple. So if the cabin is like door HP, this can obviously be whatever you want. I just give you a few examples there. If the door HP, for example, hits 0, or they break in, like the zombies, whatever enemies you might have, then you lose the game, right? So you can either like lose the game and you have to restart when the door HP hits 0, or they can actually win the game when you light the signal flare. Like the signal fire, it can also be like a flare gun or whatever it might be. the loose condition, like it can also be to like enforce this day and night cycle. It can also be that they miss the curfew, so they need to go in at night. If they don't, they're going to lose the game, right? And we're going to give them a lot of warnings so that they don't just die randomly and they're very like upset. We're going to make this very easy to follow, but it just, if they don't want to, we're going to kill them, like just have a cutscene where the zombies kill them or whatever. So they miss the curfew, they're caught outside, and they get attacked by zombies basically. So what's going to be the player action? What is the player actually going to do in this game? Right, in this game you can basically do whatever you want. You can just wake up, you can think of, what am I going to do? Am I going to craft tools, weapons, build, upgrade shelters? We're going to make this more linear, right? That's the idea of this game. It's going to be much easier and it's going to be less like free. And that's how you make very like easy cheat code to make a game much easier to finish, is just don't make the game as free. Make it very linear, have a linear progression. And that's the idea of this game. So the player actions here are going to be very simple to reflect that. And we're going to do this everything. So during the day, they're going to run around, they're going to gather things. At the evening, they're going to craft, and then at the night, they're going to fight. So I'm going to write that down. They can have a simple melee or a bow, for example. You can have both of these. So if you just have these two, for example, you can make a lot of different things with that, just tweaking the variables in like the game engine. So you can have a lot of upgrades and like weapon things around this if you just have the melee and the bow. And you can just upgrade the sprite, change the sprite, and then you can have like fire arrows, and then you can have it like take continual damage on the zombies, for example, when you hit them or something. This is very easy to like upgrade upon for you. And then they can also, as I said, they can place down the defenses. So for example, a spike trap in like preset slots near the cabin. So this is like slots that you decide in the game, right? You might have like 6 of these, where they can either upgrade the different things here, so it becomes like a very simple tower defense without it being too complex. And yeah, it's also going to be much easier for you because, as I said, the less free the game is, the more easy it is for you to actually finish and develop the game. So they can also eat food to restore stamina and HP. So I think that's very essential that they can like eat food. Maybe they can craft some food, craft some stamina restoration potion or HP restoration potion. These things are also very easy for you to implement. They're not complex. They're not things that are going to make this project like super complex. Like the core things that we're just getting out there is like the freedom and also the 3D art style. So and the animations. That's like the core thing that's going to make this much more realistic for us. And also we're not going to make these systems too complex, because if they're too complex when you are a beginner, basically you're not going to finish because it just becomes a mess for you and you don't have experience in like big systems. So that's what I learned when I released my games, to not just add upgrades, add things just for the sake of it. If we're going to add things like eat food and restore stamina HP, those are very simple, right? Very simple to implement. So the content limits, this is going to be very important for you to actually finish the game itself. So I think we're just going to have one tile map with like 3 different zones or rings of danger. So near the cabin, it's going to be safe during the day. Like mid is going to be like medium dangerous, and then far is going to be very dangerous because like if you are very far away, there might be something that's happening, and then it's very far away from the cabin, so you can't get her in time for the curfew. So you can kind of make this thing where you have 3 different rings. You can also make this very simply and easily. One tile map with 3 different rings, where like the further you get, the more resources you can get, but it's also going to be further away from the cabin, and you also need to like think about the curfew time. So you don't want to go too far, at least you don't want to get too greedy. And then we are just going to have 4 resources in total, and I promise you, with these, doesn't need to be like exactly this, but with just 4 resources in total, you can make a lot of different things. You can imagine in Minecraft, for example, you can have a few resources, you can craft so many different things. Whereas just wood, for example, you can craft a lot of different things. Doesn't need to be like complicated. And then you can maybe have some like make the scrap, for example. You can make that like a bit more rarer, which is only going to spawn it far, or sometimes in the mid, but not near. So you can have the scrap here, for example, be much more rare than the wood or stone, for example. The food can be something that's only in the near, for example. You can be very creative even though you're very limited on the resources there. You can also make a lot of different crafting recipes with just these 4. You can imagine if you have like 2 wood, 1 stone, 2 stone, 1 wood. There's a lot of different combinations, right? I'm not going to list all of them, but you get my point. There's a lot of different things that you can do with this. I think we're also going to have like just around 8 to 10 of these, like craftable. So you can have, for example, 2 weapons which you can upgrade. You can have 1 heal, so you can make something with the food, for example. 1 heal, 2 tools, 3 upgrades, for example. Something like that. And then we're going to have 1 enemy type. So just to make this very, very simple, because we don't really benefit from having a lot more enemy types, I think we're just going to have 1. And then we have 1 stronger variant with the same sprites and tint. So we don't need to overcomplicate it anymore than that. You can also like add 1 extra if you want to just change the tint, the size, and then the damage. Like these things are not going to overcomplicate the game in a way that you're not going to finish it, which is like the whole point of this video. I'm like trying to cut this down into something that you can finish. Like adding different enemies in different tints or sizes, that can like doesn't necessarily add to the game, but also if you want to, you have a lot of flexibility there, because you can literally just change the tint, you can change the size, and you can make a lot of these different variants without adding much complexity to the game, but also having more variants in the gameplay. Which, for example, if you just had like this game, which is 3D, you have a lot of different animations, and it's like huge, it's like bigger one, it's not pixel art. It would kind of be implied that you can just tint or resize the same enemies in this game. Let's say there was like a zombie in this game, for example. You can really just resize or tint a zombie in this game, or reverse, or whatever this game is. You can do that because that would kind of be implied that they would have a different model for it. But since this game is so simple, it's pixel art. That's like a big reason why pixel art and 2D, like very simple graphics, are so nice. Is because you can be more flexible with these different things. No one is going to bat an eye when you just have the same sprite and you resize this and you change the tint, like the color. No one is going to bat an eye on that when you have pixel art. So this is like 100 times more realistic than this Rust, whatever game. I hope it's Rust, or not, it's going to be very awkward. The last thing here before we are going to write this 1 sentence game pitch to just sell this game. You can also use this idea if you want to, I don't care. We're going to write down the art and audio strategy, which I talked a little bit about. This is going to be very important. So I think we're going to just have 16 by 16 pixel art, which basically just means every sprite is going to be 16 by 16 pixels, which is very simple. I don't think you need more than that. If you go for 32, only if you really enjoy like art, or you find like a tile map that is only 32, use that, sure. But for most of you guys, I think 16 by 16 is very like a good resolution. So we have 16 by 16 tiles. Don't overcomplicate the palette. If you find like a palette with like 50 different things that you can build with, that's totally fine. You don't need more than that, okay? And then we're going to have like strong silhouettes. And then the last thing is just going to be, don't overcomplicate the player, don't add like customization. We're just going to have 1 player sprite, 1 enemy sprite, which we can change the size of, and yeah, as I told you. For the player, for example, if you take damage, we can just change the tint to red. Very simple, it's pixel art. Who cares? 1 cabin. So you just have 1 cabin. Like, don't add a customization and all these things to this. Just make this very simple. And then we're going to have like some music. It's going to be day ambience. We can have some night ambience. Plus minimal sound effects, right? Just the hits, gather, crafts, alert. Maybe like def too. And the UI button. You can find all of these, like sound is very easy to find online. That's like the easiest and best thing to find online. It's going to be sound. Even music and sound effects, they're very easy to find. You can find them on Pixabay, for example. That's where I find the music for my videos, the sound effects for my games as well. You can find everything on Pixabay or online. Sound is very, very nice, and you don't need to worry about sound. Just don't overcomplicate it. I like different sound effects based on the time of day or whatever, right? Just have these different soundtracks, the day, night, and then you have these different sound effects, right? And then we're going to write this 1 sentence game page, but first I'm going to just give you a quick AI reference image for this so you can better visualize the game. While that is loading, we can go ahead and write the 1 sentence game page. So I'm thinking like just a 2D pixel art survival defense game, where you scavenge by day to craft upgrades at sunset or at evening, then defend your long cabin from escalating night waves until you build a signal fire. Also, like, kind of conflicted on the fire or the flare gun. I'm not sure which one makes the most sense, but you can do whatever you want and like the assets you find, whatever you want. So we can have this. This is the reference image, for example. I'm going to head and download that and just add it to the dock. I think this is very good. You have the UI here, so you can literally always see the things. You don't need an inventory system or like a separate UI for it. You can literally just have this. Just spend like a day on like making this organized correctly, or you can even just have it there and then you just change the text so it says 0, 0, 0. And when you upgrade something, just change to 1. You can have that if you want. Then the crafting here. I don't like that. You should just have that in the cabin. These things. So this is like the AI's fault. I don't like this. Just have it inside the cabin. And then this, I think this is really good, really cool. You can have the fire here, which is like the big thing. So this is apparently on the last wave. The door HP, really good. The night wave here, really good. The clock, really good. The goal, you don't really need that. Just imply it when you start a game. Like say that's a goal. Yeah. I think this is really good reference. This is the AI document. So we're going to still learn a lot of the same things that we did in this, but we're going to make it much simpler. This also is going to be a much funner game in the end if you try to make this, and then even if you spent a year on it, the game is going to be much worse than just this, because more features doesn't mean the game is going to be better. More features just adds the complexity and means that the features you actually have is going to be worse because you're a beginner. Your first game should just be something that's going to learn you, because you're going to learn a lot of new things. And when you have never done a game before, you don't know how to scale a game. So you need to start small before you start big. Have this as your long-term goal, but you're going to learn a lot of the same things that you need to make this as you're going to do if you just make this. And then the next thing is just to learn the things that you miss. So the art, the animations, these complex things. But you can fully focus on that if you already have made this and learn the things that you need in this. So don't yap too much. But yeah, I think this is really good. If you want the Trello template that I use to plan my games, I can show you quickly. If you want this, which is fully automated, when you add the task here, it's going to add it to the feature list. You have the different tags here. Very simple if you just want to save some time. So if you want it, you can check it out with the second link in the description, where I'll just send it to you on email. I think this is very good if you want to finish your game and make something like this. Very nice to plan out your game, so hopefully that's going to help you. It's completely free, obviously. Yeah, you can copy this idea if you want to. I'm not going to be happy anymore. Thank you so much for watching. Hope this helped you.